Unfortunately, today we got our guys working on our HQ. That's our shop back there. We got to have 2,400 square feet, 2 garages for wash stuff. It's gonna be completely dedicated to our business here and building things out and fabricating. It's just a good time. So it's Thursday, and I hope everyone's doing well. I was out here doing some work on the trailer today. I figured I'd give you guys a rundown and kind of talk about some of the pros and cons between a truck bed setup and a trailer setup, because I've done both at this point. I can tell you firsthand what you're getting into. What you're looking at here is a twin Predator build. We're running TSF 2221 general pumps on these bad boys. So K7 unloader, beautiful. Absolutely worth getting, a few extra dollars for that flow control, but really worth it. And as you can see, we went all out here. We got a 14-foot trailer built out, and then twin totes, the 275s. Everything's independent here. Remote control and independent. We can downstream and tag team. Actually, not even tag team, because tag team is like one guy at a time in the ring. Actually, we're 2 at a time here. When we're washing houses with this rig, it's really nice because my employee goes one direction, I go the other, and we're knocking stuff out really nice and quick here. I've upgraded this rig to hot water. We're running this. Unfortunately, the Dragon here hasn't worked from the factory. We've been having some issues with them, and I'm hoping to have the pump swapped out. We'll see what they do for me. But that's the idea, is that this rig is basically all encompassing. You got enough room for your fat boy soft wash system here. Two pressure washers, and really all the water that you need for. Well, here's what's interesting. A system like this, we tested the concept here a few weeks ago, where we got to a job, and of course the water wasn't turned on. The one neighbor actually was a cranky pants and said no, we couldn't use her water, and I offered to pay and everything too, so whatever, lady. And then the other neighbor had their water turned off as well. So it was a smaller house, probably 1,200 square foot ranch, and still we were able to do the whole thing, with just the water that we'd brought, and no second trip or anything like that. So worked out really well, and I was really happy to see that this rig could handle that with just the water that we're bringing here. So I tell you what, let's start from the very front. This may be, and the thing is too, if you guys are watching this, I'm always in love with constructive comments and criticisms. If you see something blatant, if I'm doing something, tell me. Please, I really want to know what I can do better here. So also keep in mind, later today, I'm actually going in and we're getting all the signage ordered. We have a couple of billboards that are going to be going across the whole, this whole thing is going to be like a rolling billboard here. So it's going to be nice. But starting at the front, our supply side, this is not finished yet, unfortunately. I'm a fan of not having a reel for the supply hoses. I'm a fan of just having them lay back and forth, and that's just how I've always done it, and it just seems like it's a little bit faster, a little bit easier, and then I don't have to waste time on having another reel and another thing with moving parts that can go wrong. Coming right on in through, we're going through to each one of the totes. Everyone here is mowing their lawn, by the way. Everyone. Sorry about the noise in the background. Anyways, distracting. So we're coming on through to the supply side. Let me not get distracted here. A couple of pre-filters, and then we're into the Hudson valves that are inside the totes. That's pretty standard stuff. Got an eye wash station, because you never know. I really should get a second one and put one on the other side of the trailer as well. And again, these guys are independent and 200 feet ready to go, independent. If we need more, we got more. Curatech, I'm running 200 feet of 5/8 Curatech on the Fat Boy system. What's cool about these Delavan, this is the high flow, the 7 GPM 100 PSI system. This electric pump actually has a bypass built into it. I'm not really sure what to think about it because it just sits there spinning, but it's also being fed off of a LiPo battery, which is just absolutely massive, and so I'm not really concerned about it running out of power anytime soon. But this is what's powering the soft wash system on our rig, and it's nice. Coming directly out of our mixer, right into the pump, down and around into the reel. It's pretty sweet. Now, with the mixer, this morning I was kind of chasing down some leaks and troubleshooting the system a little bit. But again, I really think that, you know, if you're going to be into, you know, washing houses and this is like your business, you know, save some money and learn how to build stuff yourself. I'm really a proponent of going in and you find the sprinkler section, you get yourself a manifold, spend the money on some good valves, the Asahi's, and you know, do this part right. If you're going to do anything, you know, spend a little bit of money on this, do it right, and do it once, cry once. I'm running a 55-gallon tank for chemical, and then we're running high draw chemical injectors, which it's nice. With this rig, we're getting a lot of chemical draw. I'm finding to where I have to mix in some water to kind of keep the heat down a little bit, and it's working out great. Now, previously, I've ran a truck bed setup. I had a Tundra where the back of the bed is just, you know, it's set up, it's plumbed up, it's got the reels and everything. You look at the older videos that I have posted, you can see a view, you know, a bird's eye view of the whole operation. Now, I can't fit this in my truck bed. I can't do it, unfortunately. You know, everything's just, it's just too much. But you know, with that comes a trade-off. You know, a lot of people in the forums are talking, well, you know, is a trailer an advantage, or is working out the back of a truck an advantage? You know, it really just depends on what you want to do, on what your, you know, the design for your business is and everything. After doing both, I kind of just prefer the trailer, especially if you have employees, especially if you're building a team. That way, anybody can just take the trailer and go off and do the job, obviously. The nice thing about that, too, is that, you know, if your truck has to be in the shop or whatever, you're not down a rig. It doesn't keep things from going wrong with the trailer, so I'm not really sure that that's an argument. You know, the trailer could always have a tire pop off or something weird happen, who knows? But, you know, after having both, I would say that it's nice having the trailer rig because then I have my truck back and I don't have to worry about, you know, carrying, you know, like the liability of, like, if I get in an accident with my truck, I just automatically, you know, it's just always in the back of your head. So, you know, you see people kind of going back and forth on the forums. You know, like I said, it's just about the design and the purpose of your business. You know, like what kind of work you're going after. You know, we're going after more, you know, commercial and industrial stuff as well as the residential, and you know, we're going for high volume and being able to take care of things quickly. Taking a second to just say hi to the live chat, guys. Thanks for joining us. If you're watching this and you're enjoying what you're seeing here, hey, you know, drop me a thumbs up, drop me a like, give me a subscribe, and you know, tune in for more content later on as you go on. For up here, what I'm thinking about doing, though, is I'm going to make some trays. I'm going to have like a tray for the number 1, a tray for the number 2, and then probably have some room left over right here for a tank because I'm going to have a DI set up for window cleaning. But I'm still thinking about how to handle that. So if you guys have any ideas in the comment section, let me know. But I hate the idea of having to have a reel for the supply. I've always done that, like that firefighter back and forth. You just, you know, you grab the end of it, you pull it off, and it doesn't tangle. It's pretty quick to do, and then you're not dealing with, you know, the extra logistics of having a reel and everything like that. So that's kind of how I do business. And again, this isn't, you know, this is a work in progress too. So I'm just looking forward to kind of give you guys some updates later on as we set things up and get it 100%, which it'll never actually be 100%. One thing I found out is that these remote controls that you find on eBay, or not eBay, Amazon, you can't select the channel. If you get 2 of them, one remote will operate both of them. You can't program it out of there. It's just how it is. So I have a second different brand remote coming that I'm going to actually replace in there, and we'll see how it goes. And hopefully it works out, because the idea is to keep everything independent. I want to be able to hit a remote, get soap, my employee could hit a remote, get soap, fresh water, back and forth. The difficulty I have is that when you're hiring people who haven't really, they you have to label everything. It's like like the training procedure for this whole thing, and that overhead of having somebody that you're responsible for on a customer's property. With what we do, you guys probably know as well as I do that you know it's not really all that hard to mess something up, if you're not paying attention. So I think that's like one of the major struggles of this business is like getting employees that they're not sleeping on the job. They're actually paying attention to what they're doing. And to help alleviate some of that, they're master on and off. These are sweet switches right there that can be found on Amazon, and they show the voltage right there, which is hella sweet. So on this rig, I'm running a LiPo battery bank inside of here, and then I'm running an AGM, lead acid inside of there for starting the machines. One thing you're not going to see on my rig is I don't have a generator, and for the hot box needs 15 amps at 12 volts to operate. So what we did was we got the upgraded coil pack. There's a kit you can get for the Predators. I think they're $300 or so is what we paid for them, and it upgrades the Predator is like stock. Its charging system is like 2 or 3 amps stock, so it's only going to maintain a charge if you're using a starting battery. This guy, I believe it puts out 18 amps with the upgraded coil pack, and so with that 18 amps, that's what's powering my hot box over here. So like I said, this guy, don't worry about him. We'll come back to him later once he's feeling better and I got him actually all, sorted out and fixed. But life is about disappointments. I ordered this 15-gallon, 50 on eBay, 15-gallon, I'm sure it's made in China or whatever, fuel cell. No name manufacturer. And I thought I was going to be slick and set it up with a fuel gauge and everything. Yeah, but it doesn't work. And it's not even a 15-gallon fuel cell. It holds 9 gallons. So I feel like we got ripped off here, and the fuel sender doesn't really work. So I'm thinking I'm going to take an ohms reading and see what the resistance is on the line and see if there's like a specific, fuel pump that I can get. But again, if that's something that you've encountered and you can help me out, let me know in the comments section. This right here, that's another one of those voltage switches. This controls the battery over to the hot box. So turning that on and off basically arms the add-on hot box. The only other modifications I did to these Predators is I got a 90-degree exhaust and a flapper, because the way that this was going to be set up, it's like if I didn't do anything about this, it was just going to be exhausting onto the next machine and probably overheating all the, and anyways, whatever. So, 90-degree elbow and a little flapper to keep the rain out of it. It's beautiful. So far, I'm really in love with this system. It has its pros and cons. It's a little bit more capable than a truck setup, and the thing is, it's only a 14-foot trailer as well. So it is, easier to get around in a driveway and stuff like that if you're going to pull into a driveway. And that's like one of the major advantages for the truck setup is that you kind of just pull up alongside the house and you're in business. But with this, you're way faster. And when I mean way faster, I mean like the efficiency of a setup like this, especially when you have a helper, it's amazing. We're out there, and in less than 2 hours, we're taking care of the whole house wash, any concrete, the walkway, the entranceway, the driveway, the sidewalks, everything. And we're not killing ourselves, and we're in and out in 2 hours with this rig. I mean, upgrading to twin 8.5, which they can be cranked up to 10 gallons, but just running these two machines versus the single 5.5, it's like you're in a completely different galaxy. That's the best way I could put it. There is just no comparison. You are so much faster than, running a 5.5 or, even a 4-gallon a minute. I think that if you're going to do this at all, you should run a minimum of a 5.5 gallon. And, if you can swing it and eventually you're building your way towards it like I have here, get the larger setup because you're going to love it. I'm telling you, it's such an upgrade. And it's really fun too. Like when you're out there and you're both running at the same time. Like the other day I was like my employee is running the 24-inch surface cleaner here, and I'm right behind him, watching the wall of this house as we're going, and we're just boogieing. So it's a good setup for sure. But that just about covers it for today. I wanted to give you guys, kind of a quick tour and share some thoughts with you guys, and that's about it. I hope everyone's doing well, and I'll continue to do some improvements and perfect this system and chase out all the bugs. I hope everyone's doing well. Thank you for watching my video, guys. Y'all take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next one.